Hello, everyone. Today we're coming to you as a recording, and I thank you all for joining us. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Master Yung Hua. I've been teaching American Chan for about 20 years. Every time I teach Chan to new audiences, I like to remind them where I learned it from. That is, I learned it from my great Chinese teacher, great master Hua, who is a Weiyang lineage patriarch from China. And Master Hua is really one of the rare teachers that we can encounter in the modern times. Not only he's a great teacher, he has a lot of wisdom. But what I like about learning from this Chinese monk is that his heart is a very big heart. In my prior life as a lay person, I lived my life to seek things for myself. Anything goes, as long as you get what you want. And that's a very Western style of value system. And then I lived like that for about half of my life, and then I realized I wasn't happy. I looked at my seniors, the people I aspired to be, the executives and presidents of companies. But then when I got closer to them, because I was working for them directly, I realized that they were unhappy. And I decided that's not what I wanted to do with the rest of my life. Pursue power, fame, and profit, indulging myself, seeking thrills and pleasures like ordinary people, like well-educated people. I realized that the end of the road there will lead to even more dissatisfaction and unhappiness. And that's when I was looking for something else to do to change my life. And I stumbled upon Chinese Chan. It's not only about the teachings itself, but being a Western educated person, I was looking for results. I've never met anyone so selfless and so kind and compassionate. And that's the image I still have of my beloved teacher. And that's what motivated me to walk his path. But originally, as I like to say, to tell people that my intention was to learn about meditation only for about 10 years professionally, learning from the best, and then return back to my normal life. But you could say, unfortunately for me, I'm still here after for a total of 25 years now. And the reason I'm still here is because I'm enjoying it more and more. And I enjoy coming to Korea. We've been coming here since for 6-7 years now. And every year is more rewarding, more interesting. I'm learning so much more. And so that's the spirit of our meditation practice as well. Because let's face it, life is continually changing, and therefore we should be continually improving ourselves. And personally, I find Chan fascinating because there's no limit to how much you can improve. All right, So today's topic is I was asked to talk about is how to cope with the modern day, the modern life, chaos and stress. I which have both experience in both as a layperson as well as a monk. The more students I have, the more it becomes chaotic, the more it becomes stressful. And the common denominator that helps me cope with it is the practice of Chan. So I'd like to talk about you about something that I do every day myself. I practice Chan every day. Chaos is because we have a sensory overload. We're constantly bombarded or distracted by sounds, by smells, by sights, and so on. Our six sense organs, the eyes, the nose, the tongue, the ears, and so forth, are continually bombarding us with external stimuli. And it's the more we know, the more we become overloaded with such external data. And typically, we cannot handle such external data. And when we cannot handle it and we cannot get, which they prevent us from getting what we want, then that's when we experience stress. Stress is because it's just too much. And we repeatedly cannot handle it, and we fail repeatedly. So we fail primarily our own expectations. And personally, I went through all that as well as a lay person. And especially in nowadays, especially for young people, there's another issue that arises. To me, it's very alarming personally, and I find it very alarming to hear that, for example, young people here in this country, a good proportion of them resort to suicide to resolve the difficulties in life, which primarily because the youngsters are ill-prepared for the stress and chaos in life. If we fail repeatedly to solve our problems, that's a very big reason for us to experience depression. And if you do not address these issues soon enough, the depression sets in, can ruin your life. And the good news is that many of our Chan students came with us depressed, and they look for some relief for their stress and the chaos in their lives, and over time they're able to resolve them. And the successful ones have a very normal life. So one of today's messages that I like to relate to you is that you should address these mental issues quickly, early on, so that they're easier to resolve. Especially you young people, help is available. A lot of people like you are in trouble, are able to rise above it and become better people, have a better life. Please believe in yourself. Don't give up. And that comes with a sense of we call it American Chan, because that's a concept of the American, that is, we stress results. It's not false promises, concrete results. And furthermore, also I'd like to stress today to all of you, is life is a continuous process of improvement, self-improvement. It's funny to me that when you are in business, you want to make more money. But in terms of quality of life, we really don't know how to improve our quality of life. And so that's why I like to stress the fact that when we practice Son, we practice Chan, it's a process of continual self-improvement. All right, so what do psychologists say when we are faced with stress? When I was younger, I heard about the fight or flight concept. When we face with a big problem, we have two choices, either fight or we fly. And most people fly or run away because they can't handle it. We could call it strategic withdrawal. But still, as a problem there, we cannot solve. That will stick with you and will give you a sense of failure. The other option that we also learn to do is to fight. Fight here is a very Western kind of concept where it's confrontational. It's so Western because when we talk about fighting, there's winning concept. We want to win. We fight to win. We don't fight to lose. And it's perfectly acceptable because we come first, don't we? So there's a sense of confrontational, there's a sense of winning, a sense of imposing our will on others. It seems to me that's what everyone is conditioned, everyone is taught to do. The people you used to work for, the owners of companies, the executives, and they got that far because they learned how to fight better. But the end result is that they're not any happier than we are. Therefore, fundamentally, the concept of fighting is not necessarily beneficial for us. But ultimately, none of us is any happier when we win. And that's why I would classify the classic response of fighting versus flighting is non-Buddhist. In Buddhism, we have a much better way to cope with it. How do we resolve stress and chaos? By doing things that benefit ourselves and others. And that's the long term. And going back to the coping with stress and chaos, ordinary people, this is very important. When we are stressed out, it's chaotic. You need to learn, develop skills to address them. In particular, if you are faced with stress, you have to learn to resolve it. Why is that? Because stress kills.
왜냐하면 스트레스가 우리를 죽이기 때문입니다.
What do I mean by stress killing people? Because if you allow your body to experience stress continually and not be able to resolve the stress factors, you're only making yourself physically sicker and sicker. And therefore, another point today I'd like to share with you is that stress needs to be resolved. The worst thing you can do is ignore it.
최악으로 대처하는 것은 그것을 그냥 무시해 버리는 것입니다.
What do ordinary people do to resolve their stress? Very good thing to do is to exercise. It's very helpful that when you're stressed out, you should consider going to the gym. Here in Korea, I notice the nature, your culture is that you love nature. You like to walk in nature. It's a very good thing to do. In United States, where I live, the people there would gather in parks on weekdays and weekends. They practice Tai Chi. So yes, you need to do something physical that will help reduce your stress. And whatever you like to do, try them all for variety. Other people might resort to drinking, eating, and hanging out with friends, watching TV. All those are helpful.
이런 모든 것들이 다 도움이 되긴 합니다.
Why are they helpful?
왜 도움이 될까요?
Because there are activities that will provide distraction to your mind from your stress factors. People need to understand that they are stressed out because their minds are stuck on the stress factors. They cannot let go.
내려놓을 수가 없는 겁니다.
And therefore, they need distractions.
그래서 방해 요소가 필요한 겁니다.
Any type of distraction is beneficial.
어떻게 방해 요소를 적용하든 다 도움이 됩니다.
But for us, Buddhists, we have better forms of distractions. Namely, our very powerful way, style of coping with stress is to meditate. And that's why you see in the modern world, Buddhist meditation is very, very popular because it works. Most of the world is more familiar with Hinayana style of meditation. In particular, you go to Europe, most of the meditation teachers are Hinayana meditation teachers. And you could hear names, for example, in Asia, where teachers say, I teach Vipassana. That is one style of Hinayana meditation. Here in Korea, predominantly the religious leaders, like Sunims, teach Hwato. And more recently, the more popular style is people are more drawn to reciting Buddha's name.
근데 최근에는 사람들이 연부라는 데 더 많이 끌리고 있습니다.
Or if you have some who are interested in Tibetan style of meditation, they recite tantras or mantras. You see, the principle is that when you're stressed out, you need to distract your mind from the stress factors. In particular, Buddhist styles of distractions are much more effective for you, much more beneficial. Remember, in Buddhism, when we do things, is to benefit ourselves as well as others. In contrast, if you take a drink to distract yourself,
근데 다시 반대로 여러분이 한잔 하면은
you're only benefiting yourself.
여러분 스스로한테만 이롭습니다.
Whereas in Buddhism, the better way is to meditate. And you will distract yourself, and eventually you realize you also benefit others. And that's why meditation is becoming more and more popular. Because Buddhist meditation helps you refine your mind.
불교적인 명상법은 여러분의 마음을 정제할 수 있습니다.
So that you can cope better with life. So if you will, in Buddhism, we're not interested only in teaching you meditation to help you cope with stress and your stress and chaos in life. We're also to improve the quality of life. And how does it happen?
어떻게 그런 일이 생길까요?
How does it work?
어떻게 그런 일이 생기죠?
It works by working on your mind. And when you work your mind, you learn to improve it and hopefully develop your wisdom. And that's a concept I'd like to share with you today, the concept of wisdom.
그래서 여러분에게 오늘 설명하고자 하는 것은 지혜라는 개념입니다.
Because in order to benefit yourself and benefit others, you must develop wisdom. It's not false thinking. It's not false promise. It's real. So we learn to benefit ourselves.
그래서 우리가 우리 스스로를 이롭게 하고
And that's what meditation does.
그것이 명상으로 가능하고
We teach you meditation techniques
명상
that to
기술을
help you benefit yourselves.
여러분에게 명상 기술을 가르쳐서 여러분을 스스롭게 이롭게 해주는 겁니다.
But that's only a starting point. Please don't stop there.
근데 그것은 그냥 시작점에 불과합니다. 거기서 그냥 멈추시면 안 됩니다.
Chan or Son, as known here, goes much further than that.
선에서는 여러분이 훨씬 더 멀리까지 도달할 수 있게 해줍니다.
Because it refines our minds.
왜냐하면 이것이 여러분의 마음을 정제시키기 때문입니다.
It gets rid of our minds of the impurities, the ickiness that we don't want. And this is, I find, to be what's lacking in today's education. We learn how to calculate.
우리가 계산하는 방법은 배우는데
We learn how to think.
우리가 생각하는 방법을 배웁니다.
But we don't know how to improve our minds. We don't know how to open our wisdom. I submit to you that knowledge isn't always beneficial.
지식이 늘 여러분에게 이로운 것은 아닙니다.
It's useful, but not always beneficial. If we don't invest and make efforts to open our wisdom, we will never know happiness. And I hope this is what you Buddhist disciples need to keep in mind. Can we, in our own little ways, in our little spheres of influence, do the right things so that we can help our children have a better life?
그렇게 우리가 옳은 것들을 해내야만 우리의 자식들, 후대가 잘 살 수 있습니다.
Giving them money, giving them material things have proven not to necessarily provide them with happiness.
우리가 돈을 주고 먹을 것을 제공한다고 해서 그들이 반드시 행복하게 살 수 있는 것은 아닙니다.
Because are we prepared to admit that we can be happier?
우리가 그들에게 너네가 더 행복해질 것이라고 말해줄 수 있나요?
And that's what I feel that Buddhism here in Korea and throughout the world can help everyone. The people, again, are too obsessed about knowledge and don't pay enough attention, don't invest enough in developing wisdom. Our Buddha came to this world to teach us how to open our wisdom.
우리의 부처님께서 이 세상에 왔을 때 지혜를 여러분에게 알려주고자 오셨습니다.
And that's process of training there in Buddhism is a very powerful method. It's called Chan or Son. Yes, in Son meditation, we can talk about various different techniques of meditation.
우리가 여러 가지 명상법에 대해서 이야기해 볼 수 있습니다.
Most people who learn meditations, many would start by breathing, breath counting.
명상을 시작하는 대부분 많은 사람들이 수식관, 즉 호흡 명상에 대해서 배웁니다.
Others can be taught to recite things like Buddha's name, sutras.
불경을 독송하기도 하고.
For example, today before we started the session, we recited the Sinjing and the Heart Sutra, and all those are actually very helpful in increasing our concentration. And here in Korea, real popular, also very popular, is the practice of the Hwato, more difficult to practice.
수행하기가 쉽지가 않습니다.
And therefore, most of the practitioners do not have much success with it. Historically, in Buddhism, not just in Korea, very few people can practice Hwato successfully. That's why in our Weiyang style of Chan training, we teach many, many different types of methodologies because different people are better off practicing methods, diverse methods that are more appropriate for them.
왜냐하면 다양한 사람에게는 더 적합한 수행 방법이기 때문입니다.
All meditation techniques are simply expedients. I find it interesting that when I talk to people or talk to people about their meditation practices or talk to their teachers about how they teach meditation,
내가 여러 사람들과 대화를 해봤는데 특히 명상 지도자들하고 얘기를 해봤더니
I find that they're glossing over the proper foundation for meditation. People stress mantras. I recite mantras. I recite Buddha's name. In the U.S., for example, I've been to Vietnamese Buddhist communities.
특히 베트남인들이 하는 그 불교 수행 그런 그룹에 보니까
where they believe in reciting the Buddha's name. I met some who recited the Buddha's name for 20, 30 years.
어떤 사람은 20년, 30년간 연불해 왔습니다.
A lot longer than I have been as a monk. but they're not making progress. Why not?
왜 없나요?
Because they
왜냐하면-
fail to take care of the foundation.
기반이 부족하기 때문에 그런 것입니다.
What is the foundation for meditation?
명상의 기반이 무엇일까요?
What is the foundation for Hwato practice?
화두 수행의 기반이란 무엇일까요?
It's called
그게 뭐죠?
morality.
그것이 바로 도덕성입니다.
So this is the problem with meditation teaching nowadays. You focus on the methods of meditation, but you fail to build the proper foundation for meditation. I like to give you an analogy. It's like building a house and neglecting your foundation.
그런데 집을 짓는데 기초 공사는 대충 하는 겁니다.
And the house cannot last very long. Okay, we have a small Chan center in San Jose, and it used to be a riverbed. So our buildings are continually leaning one way or the other.
그래서 건물이 조금씩 계속 기울어져 가고 있습니다.
So we have to make the correction. We have to rebalance them
그래서
often.
계속 고치고 또 고쳐야 됩니다.
That's the same thing with you when you practice meditation without the proper foundation. And point number two, not only do you
번째로,
need the proper foundation,
기반만 중요한 것이 아니라
but if you build the foundation and appropriate for a 4-story building, and let's say now your needs have changed. You need a 10-story building like here in Seoul. You need more room. What are you going to do?
어떻게 하실 건가요?
Move to a different location?
다른 데로 이사 갈까요?
Okay, the architects, they can only build a foundation there for
건축
4 stories. But if you need to go up to 10 stories now, you need to make the foundation even stronger than before. Let me challenge you. Why do you stop at 10 stories? Why not go up to, like here in Seoul, the Lotte Tower is how many stories? How are you going to build
어떻게
from that foundation?
그런 기반 가지고 어떻게 거기까지 갈 수 있을까요?
So in Chan, do
그러니까
we,
선에서는
our approach is to build a foundation for 4 stories,
4층까지 지려고 기반을 세우는 게 아니라
as you need to right now.
지금은 그럴 수
But
있어도
when your needs change, your
변화,
family has grown now.
식구가 많아져서 공간이 더 필요하다고 합시다.
Like Elon, now you have 13 children. Okay, you need to build higher.
그러니까 더 높은 빌딩이
So in
필요하죠.
Chan, we have the technology to solidify your foundation. So growth or improvement in Chan requires you to improve the foundation, make it stronger
더 강하게요.
and stronger.
더 강하고 강하게.
That is the requirement for continuous improvement. Okay, is it clear? You have to think not in a static way anymore. Life is continual improvement. Because if you don't improve, as you age, you get older and become useless. So, in Chan, what is the foundation? Our foundation is
우리의 기반은 뭐라고 했죠?
we teach you from day one.
첫날부터 가르칩니다.
We teach you about the foundation of morality. Morality makes you stronger. The morality is the foundation
그 도덕성이
of your happiness, of your success, of meaning in life.
인생의 의미가 됩니다.
And this is where the spirituality aspects of life matters. Okay, you need to take care of our morality, our good values. What values are we talking about?
어떤 가치관에 대해서 우리가 얘기하고 있나요?
And this is why it matters for your teacher matters.
그래서 여러분이 스승이 누군지가 중요합니다.
I'm very fortunate in that the first meditation teacher I have, Great Master Shinhwa, taught us the proper foundation. So if you have the proper foundation, you can maybe have a late start in meditation, but you can go a lot further. So you have to build the proper foundation to reach a certain level of wisdom. And that is the secret of happiness. Happiness is not about success, it's not about money, it's not about getting what you want. It's about having more wisdom so that you know how to be happier. What foundation are we talking about in meditation?
명상의 기반이란 뭐라고 그랬죠?
The foundation of life.
인생의 기반이기도 합니다.
Foundation of the meaning of life.
인생의 의미가 되는 기반입니다.
Your life has meaning when you have these characteristics. So what are these characteristics?
그럼 어떤 특징들일까요?
What are these aspects of your foundation?
이런 기반이 무엇일까요?
They're requisite to your happiness.
행복을 위해서 꼭 있어야 되는 이게 무엇일까요?
These are the foundations that bring out the goodness in your heart. In Buddhism, we believe that your Buddha nature is intrinsically of goodness.
우리의 불성은 선천적으로 선합니다.
There's no evil in there.
악이랑 없습니다.
There's no selfishness in there.
거기에는 이기심은 없습니다.
How did we ever become so selfish and therefore so short-sighted?
그것이 너무 시각이 좁기 때문에 그렇게 된 겁니다.
And that takes us further and further away from who we really are.
우리가 진짜 누구인지로부터 더 멀리 떨어뜨려 놓았습니다.
So Buddha, when he came to our world, he says, you got to be better than this.
그래서 부처님께서 이 세상에 와서 여러분이 이거보다 낫다 이렇게
So
얘기해 주시려고 왔습니다.
He taught us about goodness.
그래서 부처님께서 우리의 선량함에 대해서 알려주셨습니다.
In Buddhism, goodness is clearly defined.
불교에서의 선함이란 아주 명확하게 잘 정의되어 있습니다.
It's not wishful thinking.
그냥 희망사항이 아니라 명확합니다.
And goodness refers to the characteristics of your mind.
선함이란 여러분의 마음의 성격입니다.
My Chinese teacher, Great Master Shinhwa, taught me those foundations. So what's his foundation?
그럼 그 기반이 뭐죠?
Number one, no harming.
첫째는 해치지 말라.
If you have wisdom,
여러분이 지혜가 있다면,
if you have a good heart,
마음이 착하다면
you will never deliberately harm anyone. To deliberately harm anyone, including the demons,
그것은 마구니도 포함해서입니다.
including evil people,
악한 사람도 다 포함하는 겁니다.
including bad people.
나쁜 사람도 다 포함해서입니다.
If you really believe in Buddhism, especially
진짜로
if you are a Sunim, you
불교-
cannot do harming. Doesn't matter how wrong they are. It's not up to you to decide that the world doesn't want them. You worry about your heart. Please stop it, everyone. Stop judging others.
다른 사람을 판단하는 것을 멈춰 주십시오.
Stop condemning others.
다른 사람을 욕하는 것을 그만하십시오.
You can't win. You cannot make yourself any happier. Is that clear? So number one, no harming. Number two,
두 번째는
no stealing.
훔치지 마십시오.
No stealing. Okay?
훔치지 말아야 돼요.
Stealing
알았죠?
is what doesn't belong to you. You can't take it
그게 무슨 뜻이냐면 여러분한테 속한 게 아니면은 가져가면 안
without
된다.
permission.
물어보지 않고 가져가면 안 된다.
All right. So Korean culture is really you have an advantage there. No greed.
그리고 탐하지 말라.
Don't be greedy.
탐욕스러우면 안 됩니다.
It's interesting because my teacher stresses greed because in our Sao world, we are all very greedy. So how about learning to be less greedy? Be more content with what you have. And things that we need to share with our children,
우리 아이들한테 이런 것을 공유해야 합니다.
teach them no
배워
lying.
가르치고
Do not lie.
거짓말하지 말아라.
Because as adults, we all lie, don't we? And the reason we all lie is because our parents never taught us that we're not supposed to lie. All right? It's our parents' fault.
그러니까 우리 부모님 탓이에요.
Another one
그
is
다음은
do not be selfish.
이기적이지 말아야 됩니다.
Can we learn to be less and less selfish, please?
덜 이기적일 수 있을까요, 여러분?
Don't worry so much about yourself.
자기 자신에 대해서는 좀 덜 걱정합시다.
How about think of others?
다른 사람들의 관점으로 봐야 합니다.
Think of helping others.
다른 사람을 돕는 것을 생각해 보십시오.
Okay, a couple more minutes here. How about another aspect is no self-indulgence.
방종하는 거
Don't indulge.
여러분 스스로를
And
위해서
that's-
즐기지 마십시오.
And that's a very common mistake that people make.
이것이 여러분이 사람들이 저지르는 아주 흔한 실수 중에 하나입니다.
They indulge themselves.
자기 스스로를 위해서 많이 즐깁니다.
Inhaling, drinking,
마시는 거,
drugs.
뭐 마약도 막 하고
Don't do those things.
그런 거 하시면 안 됩니다.
They're not good for you. Okay. By the way, these are the values that you should be instilling in your children. It's so important. I wasn't taught these until I met my Buddhist teacher. After I learned, I said, I wish my parents had taught me this earlier. What's the best way to teach it? Is to live it.
그렇게 본보기로 내 스스로 살아야 됩니다.
You, before you can teach this, you have to be like this. Allow me to summarize it for you. The foundation, life, no harming,
인생의 기반은 첫째, 해치지 말라.
no greed,
탐하지 말라.
no seeking,
구하지 말라.
no lying,
거짓말하지 말라.
don't be selfish,
이기적이지 말라.
don't indulge.
즐기지 말라.
And finally, a very important aspect that will bring out the best of you is kindness and compassion. Be kinder, be more compassionate.
더 자상하고 더 자비로워야 합니다.
Thank you all for your time.
여러분 시간 내주셔서 감사합니다.
Thank you.